All right, so I told you that the equations are going to be just like what you were doing a second ago, but this is what it's going to look like. And you're looking at stuff that you really haven't seen yet this year. We have plenty of time to go over this and review. If you're lost today, don't even worry, but we are going to get some notes down. And I don't want to take notes just to take notes. I want you guys to really think about what you're doing. All right, so here, if we're working on this, let me try to get this out of the way a little bit too. So as we look at these two equations, you know it's an equation because there's an equal sign. You've seen y's and x's, and if you saw this before, you could probably graph this. You know what I mean? If it was -6, you would go up 1 over 1. You could handle that. Now, this looks different for sure. It's just another way of writing this equation. Now, what you're trying to do, and the whole point of this whole lesson, is to figure out what number could be x and what number could be y. That would be the same for both these equations. So if x was maybe 10 here, 10 minus 6, then y would be 4, right? Would that also work here, kind of thing? But you see my little window here, and it says drag the yellow box where you will substitute into the top equation. This whole concept is kind of confusing. But what if I asked you, and tomorrow hopefully we can clear it up, but what if I asked you, what does y equal? If I said, what does y equal? Would you tell me y equals x minus 6? Sounds kind of confusing. But if, again, I asked you, what does y equal? You could say x minus 6. Y equals x minus 6. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but what we're going to do is this idea of substituting. So Miss Alonso is here for Miss Santos, right? So we're going to imagine that Miss Santos is here. She's the y, but she can't be here anymore. So we have to substitute something in for this y. We're going to replace this y. And what do we know that y equals? Well, in this equation, we know y equals x minus 6. So look what I'm going to do here. They're going to ask you, where do you want to substitute? You're going to take all of this right here, and you're going to plug it in where the y is, because all of this equals y. And I'm going to show you right now. Look at this equation right here. That's what we did. That was there. The y is not there anymore. Remember, if we went back to this part, it was y equals 2x plus 3y equals 2. We got rid of the y, and we put in x minus 6. So this is what it looks like now. And could you solve an equation like this? For sure. I know you can. So get your notebooks out. I know it's a lot to take in, but let's go ahead and try this out. I have full faith in you guys. I know you guys can do this. All right. So as we're working on this one here, we're going to do a 3-square flow map. And let me go ahead and pause this here. And go ahead and draw out your flow map with 3 boxes. And I know it may feel confusing today. That's okay. We're just introing into this concept. We're going to be doing this concept till Thanksgiving, which actually, after this week, next week we have Thursday and Friday off, and we're already starting this week on a Tuesday. So it's going to be, before you know it, it'll be close to Thanksgiving, and you'll have that whole week off. As will I. We'll all get a nice break, okay? So we're going to call this substitution. All right? We're substituting. We're taking something, and we're going to substitute something else in for it. All right? Again, if you struggle today, don't even worry. We're going to get there. So the first thing I want you to do is write out this equation. Y equals 2x plus 4 and 2x plus 3y equals 20. And I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to ask you, what does y equal? Could you figure out what y equals here? We're going to do a lot of just the y equals first. Can you figure out what y equals here? Could you give me an actual phrase, y equals something? And if you can see on the top equation, what does y equal? 2x plus 4. What does y equal? 2x plus 4. Okay? So we're going to take this and go ahead and put parentheses around it. We're going to take this and we're going to substitute. This is the substitute. Who's the teacher? The y. We got to put the substitute in for the teacher. So we're going to put a square around the y, and I want you to see what's going to happen. You're going to plug in this parenthesis right here. So as you're going to plug this in, make sure you see me write this out clearly. So I'm going to go ahead and write 2x And look what I did. I wrote 2x plus 3. There's nothing here. What am I going to do? There's nothing here. So we have to replace it. Remember, the y is getting substituted, so we're going to go ahead and substitute the y. So I'm going to put this right in there. Can you see what's going on? I'm going to cross out the y, and I'm going to put in 2x plus 4. So I took this, and I just smushed it in right here where the y is. All right, that's all we did. So right here, replace y value with 2x plus 4. And that was all in the second equation. We substituted, we replaced the y value. I know it looks confusing. As I write this equation out, I'm going to write this all out here. 2x plus 3. What is this again? 2x plus 4? Hey, guess what, guys? This equation is exactly what you've been doing, correct? You've been doing this equation the whole time. So let's go for it and crush it right now. So you're just going to solve the equation. Solve for x. I have so much faith in you guys to solve this because we just did this practice. So first step, we're going to go ahead and 6x. I'm going to get a better pen. 6x plus 12. 3 times 2, 3 times 4. Okay, all equals 20. Then we're going to combine like terms. Eight x plus 12 equals 20. Then we're going to go ahead and move our constants to the right. All right, so that's going to cancel out. We're going to get 8. 8x equals 8. Hopefully you can fit this in your box pretty easily. X equals 1. So you have solved half the battle. You know what x is, and that's huge. That is super awesome. And we're going to put that here. X equals 1. But now we have to figure out not just what x is, but what y is. And this is kind of a tricky piece. I'm going to go ahead and take this first equation, use first equation, and plug in x value. Use first equation and plug in x value. It looks confusing, but we're going to go ahead and do this. What's my first equation? Y equals 2x plus 4. Remember that was our parenthesis? Remember that was all this? All right, all we did was take our first equation, which we had in the beginning, and now I want you to plug in, what is x? Do we know what x is? We know what x is. We're going to go ahead and substitute or plug it in. Just plug it in. We can do this in our head, but we'll go ahead and write it out. 2 times 1 plus 4. What's 2 times 1? Well, obviously 2. Plus 4, 2 plus 4 is 6. What does y equal? 6. These are the notes for today. I totally get it if you're a little lost, but I wanted to just introduce the topic today. Tomorrow we're going to go in some good detail for you to visually see it. You're going to be moving stuff around. I'm really excited about tomorrow's lesson. All right, guys, good job.